Hey guys! This is Deni as always. There are a lot of games where you're a monster. On YouTube also made a few videos about such games, but the problem was that 90% of these games were really prehistoric. So today, I propose to correct this. For before you a whole new set of games where you are a real monster, click on the like, click on subscribe if you haven't already, and here we go.
Do you miss adrenaline and dynamic gameplay? The perfect place to get it all? Good old Crossout. Tense battles, dozens of different vehicles, and hundreds of parts for their customization are waiting for you. You can make a powerful, bulletproof tank and destroy your enemies just by the look of it. Or make something smaller, but fast, and get in the back of unsuspecting enemies. In any case, Crossout is the best place to show everyone who is a real pro. Download the game at the link in the description.
Let's start with the new Deceit 2, where you, as well as last time, get into a game similar to Among Us. This means that there are two teams waiting for you. Ordinary people who are trying to escape from the location and monsters that are hiding inside the same people. The quest of ordinary people is to figure out the traitors and try to kill them, ideally before they show their guts and start killing survivors. The task of the monsters, to unite and quietly kill the survivors, ideally until the last without getting caught. But it can be difficult to do this, as you can understand. And the second part brought new tools, traitors, weapons, new maps, and some other features. Plus it's all with good graphics, so if you have a bunch of friends, you should definitely come here. There have been quite a few games released lately where the game is tied to the music, where the better you hit the beat of the music, the more damage you deal, and the stronger you are. This game is one of the best representatives of this genre, where you are in hell killing a lot of hellish creatures. At the same time, you are far from being a human, as you understand. Gameplay is a musical shooter with a good set of weapons and just beautiful graphics, and great dynamics as if we play in some Doom, but not with such atmosphere, of course. In the game, by the way, many people also throw their tracks, and Rubia under them. It looks sometimes cool and sometimes funny when it is some chanson. But in general, it's a great game. In general, vampires are not the most successful monsters, but some of them look especially horrible. In bloodhunt, there are a couple of classes that look like twisted freaks, but the classes are strong and nimble. The game itself, if anyone suddenly doesn't know, is very dynamic. Fast and gameplay-wise, it's a battle royal. Although now there is deathmatch mode, which by the way is popular because it is not always a pleasure to run for half a year in search of opponents. There is certainly not PUBG, and no one sits in the bushes, but still. From the features of the game is worth noting that each of the vampires has its own class and its own abilities, from invisibility to temporary invulnerability. This on the battlefield is normal, so decides. All this with fast dynamics and just great graphics. A lot of weapons, including short range, and in general the game is as good as it looks to me. I spent about 50 hours in it and enjoyed it immensely. Back 4 Blood. The zombie theme is popular on about the same level as vampires. But if we want to not just waddle their joints and be a real monster, then it is for you in this analog Left 4 Dead. In fact, it is exactly the same game, but made in modern realities, with improved graphics, new levels, and new zombies. Of course, yes, in the original game you will not give you to play for zombies, but there are modes where for them you can also happily run and hunt players. In principle, similar modes were in previous parts, and as for me, were more than successful. In general, the game is really enjoyable. Predator, Hunting Grounds. Here you are also waiting for the confrontation of two forces. On the one hand, the same arm to the teeth workers who are trying to go hunting, and the Predator who hunts obviously better. For him, as just a local monster, we will play. As it should, the Predator has a whole range of different devices that help him to jump through trees and merge with the terrain and destroy players more successfully than simple warriors do. Visually, the game looks about 2016-ish, even though it came out not so long ago, but it doesn't cut your eyes and you don't pay much attention to the graphics. By the way, the main task of people here, not how much to find and neutralize the predator, but just try to survive and run to the rescue helicopter in general gameplay is quite interesting thing. We haven't played for different skeletons yet, but I guess we can, and not for the last time today. In the story, a group of adventurers led by the hero Carleon attacks the castle of the Demon King, whose goal is the final destruction of all demons. They successfully attack the castle, turning it into ruins, and capture all the demons except for one skeleton named Skul. He is the one we will be playing as. Skul will fight mobs and bosses that are tainted with dark quartz, making them incredibly powerful. Gamalpeno is a roguelike platformer with constantly changing maps and intense action. There will be plenty of opportunities to create combinations of skulls to suit your playstyle. The main quest is to help liberate a besieged castle. Visually and in terms of gameplay, although it is a 2D game, it is very enjoyable.
So many times pass by.
Again, let's talk a little bit about skeletons. Shadow Gambit is a stealth strategy game set in the atmosphere of the golden age of piracy. The islands of the dark Caribbean, where evil inquisitors rule, are shrouded in the curse of lost souls, where cursed pirates are burned by a soul-devouring fire. We begin our journey with the cursed pirate Afia, and assemble a team of undead. Each of the 8 team members has their own unique story, character, and supernatural abilities. Using their abilities, must defeat the army of the Inquisition. Plus, we have the ghost ship Red Marley, which becomes our base where we can plan adventures and spend time with the team. There's also time management magic in the game, so you can stop time, plan your next moves, and scare your enemies with your sudden bony appearance. Among the monsters, there are various werewolves too. Of course, we could have used some Skyrim and told you that you can become a werewolf in it, but it's quite old, and here we have a more or less up-to-date game. Here we try on the role of Cahal, a powerful werewolf who has gone into voluntary exile after a particularly violent fit of rage. Under your leadership, Cahal will play a crucial role in a war between werewolves and a major oil company, which also has supernatural forces at work. We can play here in the form of a normal man and cut everyone left and right in the form of a shaggy beast. By the way, there is a third option where we just turn into a wolf and try to stealthily sneak through some locations, but this is probably the most boring stage in this game, and so it is average. While the second part of Grime is still in development, and the developers don't tell us the release date of this stone adventure, let's go back to the first one, which was released just a couple of years ago. We play as a black hole. Seriously, instead of our head there is a full-fledged black hole, which happily sucks your enemies into itself. At the same time, also gives you different abilities of your enemies, which allows us to evolve and grow. Gameplay-wise, it's a role-playing action game, with nice graphics and an extremely unusual, so, you know, stone style. I think we haven't seen anything like it yet. I'm personally really looking forward to the second part. It looks even cooler. In general, in Dying Light 2, we kind of play for an ordinary worker, well, a man, but in fact everything is not so simple. We were bitten, and the virus still got into the blood, but it's contained by a special device on our wrist. It also gives us some abilities. Well, gameplay is the same as in the last part. During the day, people try to keep the illusion of normal life, but when night falls, hungry monsters come out on the streets. Parkour is the key to survival in this world. It allows you to escape and find a way out of desperate situations. It is much more fun to play with friends, so if you have them, you should definitely go here. Now, this one isn't out yet, so it's more of a bonus to you as a waiting game if you want to play as monsters. It's a game where we choose between playing as raiders or beasts. Raiders have to race around the map, do quests, and improve their abilities, can compete with other raiders, and face monsters. Beasts, on the other hand, must move quickly, climb walls, and stupidly kill raiders. Funnily enough, they can also fight other beasts for territory and loot. In the game, there are no allies as such, but there is a kind of parkour for faster movement. Characters are also different and have their own abilities. That dilutes the gameplay. A lot of details about the game is not yet available because it is being developed, but it looks fun. I hope you found something interesting for you today, and therefore squeeze in a like and a subscribe too. I remind you about Telegram, the link is in the description. Well with you was as always Deni, and all the best.